Guys, now on today's episode of Fuck All Accountability and Responsibility for One's Own Actions, I have a story for you. Mum who had baby at 13 reveals she punched her belly in the hope it would, and I quote, go away. Emma Lewis was in the middle of her, wait for it, religious studies homework when the contractions started. The 13-year-old had spent the past 9 months ignoring the fact she was going to become a mum, concealing her blossoming bump underneath a baggy school uniform. But as she gave birth to her daughter, Shawnell, her secret was finally out. Emma, a self-confessed tearaway, grew up on a rough council estate in Birmingham in the United Kingdom. She played truant, that is, not going to school, from school, dated older boys, and wanted to try drugs. But her life changed when she became a mother. Here, for the first time, Emma, now 28 and living in Maidstone, Kent, shares her remarkable story. Emma, pictured at 13 around the time she fell pregnant, grew up on a council estate in Birmingham and fell in with the wrong crowd. That's a picture of her there when she was 13. I grew up on a council estate and my mum was on benefits. We were like your typical family from the TV program. Shameless. Yes, that's right. That's exactly what you are. Shameless. In my strict Catholic primary school, I was a really good girl. But everything changed when I started high school. I was very well developed. I'd started my period at 10, had boobs, and was the second tallest in my year. I came to the attention of lots of boys. Even the older boys liked the look of me. The attention went to my head, aka they fueled her narcissism. I'd had these big hopes of becoming a lawyer and doing something good with my life. But the second I got to high school, I became popular and went down the wrong path. That's how I got pregnant at such a young age. Yeah, becoming popular is how you got pregnant. Not anything to do with the fact that you had no self-control and that you spread your legs at the age of 12 or 13 for an older dude. No. Nothing to do with that. See? As I said, zero accountability. It was early January 2003 when I met my daughter's dad. I was a virgin at the time, and he was 17. That's a photo of her and her daughter there. Let's see if I can... Yep. Even though I was only 13, I ended up losing my virginity to him. It wasn't a good experience, and we only had sex twice. Around a month later, I didn't get my period. My breasts became tender, and I felt different within myself. I just knew. I told my friend, and I quote, I think I am pregnant. But then I panicked, so I didn't tell anyone else. I lied to my mate and said my period had come. It sounds so stupid, but I genuinely thought the pregnancy would go away. Just poof, just gone, just never happened. Well, that's one way to not take accountability. It sounds ridiculous now. Absolutely ridiculous, but I thought it would disappear. I didn't do a pregnancy test, but at about 5 months, I started to feel my stomach expand. I was in the bath one day when I punched my stomach. I just wanted it to go away. Just disappear, just not be a problem anymore. Just not have to take accountability for my actions. I didn't see myself as a pregnant woman. I was only 13. Well, that's understandable because you're a pregnant child. I used to be sick, but not in the morning. I would feel nauseous at night. I would be sick all night and then end up sleeping on the bathroom floor. I remember one day sitting in the science lab and being suddenly overcome with nausea. A few people mentioned things about me being sick and maybe pregnant, but I denied it. I bought school clothes that were too big for me to hide my bump. I don't know why I didn't talk to anyone. I was so scared. I didn't want to think about it. I just thought the baby would go away. I didn't comprehend that it would come out of me. On October 4, 2003, my daughter, Shawnell, now 14, arrived. I didn't even realize I was in labor. I was sat on the sofa doing my RE, that is religious education homework, and when I got up, my black trousers were drenched with water. I thought I'd wet myself. I went into the bath, and that's when the pain started. I remember biting my hand and then a sponge. I remember my mum coming home with her friend. I lay down on my mum's bed and I was in so much pain I screamed. I yelled, "Call an ambulance, I am in so much pain." My mum was stunned. The paramedics arrived, a man and a woman. The woman knew immediately what was going on. She calmly said, "You are having a baby," and felt my stomach. My daughter kicked and they rushed me to the hospital. They put a belt around my stomach to look for her heartbeat. They couldn't find it and I thought she was dead. All of a sudden, I thought the baby had died in me. Even though I had denied her existence for months, I was gutted. It made me realize that I loved her. It made her realize that she loved the thing that she was trying to ignore for 9 months. At the hospital, they gave me gas and pain relief, and after a few hours, she came out naturally weighing 5 pounds 7 ounces, which is 2.5 kilos for those of you that are in a country that uses metric, aka Australia. I remember when she first came out, I kept saying, "Oh my God, I've got a daughter, I've got a daughter." The next morning I woke up and she was just there. I couldn't believe I'd had a baby. Social services visited me in the hospital and checked everything. A lady asked me questions about me and my lifestyle, and they even visited my home to check it was suitable. They were happy with everything. Even though the dad was older than me, there were no criminal charges brought. Shawnell and I are no longer in touch with him. I loved my daughter immediately, but for the first 2 years, I was a bit of a crap mum. Not intentionally, but I had so many friends and so much support. Everyone did everything for me. My teenage friends would do everything for my baby. They were constantly saying, "I'll feed her, I'll change her." I didn't have to do anything. I slept on the sofa next to her for months. I went back and joined year 9, and when she was old enough for a nursery, I would get up with her, take her to the nursery, go to school, and then go to nursery. At 18, I left my mum's house in Birmingham and we moved into a home together, just the two of us. I didn't do any GCSEs or A-levels. I did a childcare course, but I wish I had. I felt pushed into it, and I know people wanted the best for me, but I would have liked to do my exams. In my 20s, I moved to Kent and I now work for Thames Clipper, a river bus service in London as a first officer. I love it and feel like a success story. I've worked there for 3.5 years now and I've had a number of promotions. I've got to give respect to her at least working and staying with the same company and getting the promotions, because that's what happens as a human being, not just as a woman, not just as a man, when you put in the hard yards. So I've got to credit where credit's due. I'll hand it to her there. I've also been married for 6 years and I'm so proud of my daughter. She is about to go into year 10 in September. She's doing really well in her GCSEs and wants to do a business degree at university. She wants to open her own cosmetics line. It's so strange to think at her age that I had a baby. I really try to keep her innocence. I want to keep her young. I don't give her too much responsibility. Yeah, that's a great idea. Don't give her any responsibility, because I'm sure that worked out so well for you. I'd want her to be dependent on me, not in a horrible way, as I know she'll have to grow up, but I want her to enjoy life. So that's a photo of her trying to keep her daughter from becoming like her. That's the daughter in the black top. I told her I don't mind her talking to boys, but I want her to wait until she's 15 before she goes on dates. I've explained to her about the physical and emotional impact of relationships. She knows she needs to focus on herself. It would break my heart if she fell pregnant. It would kill me. It must have been so hard on my mum. Now I'm really content, and it is thanks to my daughter. Before I got pregnant, I was a tearaway. I wagged school and I wanted to try drugs. I wanted to smoke. I thought I would be a sick adult who would go clubbing. Then suddenly it was all about her. People are really nice to her too about having such a nice mum. They say I'm really lovely and sweet, and she tells her friends think I am cool. She says all the boys think I am hot. We have a brilliant relationship. I'm proof being a teen mum isn't the end of the world. And you know what? She's right. It's not the end of the world, but it's also not easy, and it's not the best outcome for the child, right? And maybe if she had her dad around, then she might not have found herself in this position. See, this woman in the article was the child of a single mum, and now her daughter is the child of a single mum. This is intergenerational. And when you think that it's perfectly normal to not have a dad around, then you accept the same from yourself. Now, I just wanted to say a very quick hello to everyone in the box. I really appreciate you all from joining in the live chat on this video. And you know, and guys, it's interesting because I'm seeing a lot of people write the 17-year-old needs his head smacked in. And it's funny because I was actually watching a video this morning by Paul Elam from An Ear for Men. And I really recommend you guys go check it out. It is called look An Ear for Men and search for shame or shaming tactics or shaming language. It is an introduction to shame, I think it was, on An Ear for Men's channel. And it talks all about how we automatically we're so gynocentric that we jump to the defense of the woman straight away, and we say, you know, why was he having sex with a 13-year-old, right? And what kind of implications do you think that him having sex with the 13-year-old had on her? And how do you think it made her feel that he wasn't around, right? But it takes two to tango, ladies and gentlemen. It takes two to tango. That is a very, very important distinction to be made. Now, I've put the source link for this story in the description below, but I'm also going to put a link to that video from An Ear for Men in the description below when I finish this, and I highly recommend you guys all watch it. It's 15 minutes long, and it is one of the most important videos I think you'll ever watch in your life around gynocentrism and shaming tactics that are used to blame men when both sides are at fault. Okay? So please go and watch that once I'm done. So yeah, it was very, very interesting. What else have we got here? Janet says he was 17, she was 13. She probably lied about her age to him. I don't doubt that that's a possibility. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Either way, both of them were in the wrong. Neither of them should have been having unprotected sex at their age under their circumstances. That's my thoughts. And Aretha Franklin was apparently pregnant at 12 with 4 kids to 4 men before she was 18, right? Didn't do Aretha Franklin any good. Yes, she was successful, but it wasn't because she was a single mum, and I don't envy her children. Anyway, guys, if you realize some toxic or negative or harmful patterns in your lives, whether you are a man or a woman watching this right now, identify them, address them, fix them for your own good. And go check out that video from Paul Elam in the description below. Look forward to your comments and what you think about that video, and please give his video a like as well. It's important that more men understand the shaming that they go through as kids, the shaming that we go through as adults, that women simply don't experience in the same way. Anyway, man, I'm going to leave you on that thought. If you wanted to donate, feel free to head over to Patreon, PayPal, or I've got crypto links below, and I do really appreciate anything you do donate. I work for a living, I make my own money. I still haven't touched any donations I've ever been given. This is a war chest for what I am planning to help reclaim masculinity all over Australia and hopefully all over the Western world. Alright guys, I'm out of here for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it with anyone that you think will also enjoy it, or even be a little bit gobsmacked by it, or that needs to hear this, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.